Yeah,
To get down.
it's the wind, especially up there in the stupid J.
Yeah, you're right.
Lord. And I can't get the drift.
Save it
to
on
go
Christmas
away.
decorations.
I even plowed off the drive
Second.
where the truck was hanging down the hill.
Did say
It's
okay.
green with a lot of branches. Don't ask me more questions.
I don't know.
I just told him I'm going
As far as I'm concerned, it should be done.
Yeah.
You all ready?
That's right.
Let's
That's
start
good.
mowing grass.
26.
Let's get the grass letters out already.
I'm going to call the council meeting to order and begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First item on tonight's agenda are the minutes from the last meeting.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the December 23rd, 2024 minutes as written.
Second.
The motion is seconded to approve the minutes as submitted. All those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Any amendments to the agenda this evening? Hearing none, the first meeting of the month will begin with the Board of Works and Safety.
We met today. Diana's out sick, so the park board minutes, or the park advisory board liaison can give an update on that. Although, should we have one yet? The planning department, one big thing, we opened 2 bids for the demolition at what was known as the Red Brick. Bergman bid came in at $31,600. Cage came in at $18,750. And we allowed those to be taken under advisement by the mayor and action taken upon as needed. The council may need to appropriate some money if needed by the mayor to tear that building down. But all notices have been sent. They've been given plenty of opportunity a few times to either remedy the problem or demolish that building, and they haven't. So we can move forward with that. We talked about a few other problem properties going on in the city. Got an update from Dylan. Really good data in here if anybody's interested about trash and alley and the cost for that, and the recycling as well. Kudos to Dylan and the team. They've really been out last 2 weeks plowing snow. Saw them on Saturday morning doing sidewalks and whatnot. So I've had a few comments, and I don't usually get too many about how well the snow removal has gone this year. And his department continues to maintain all the city police cars, things like that. Any vehicle we have, his team does the preventive maintenance. So kudos to him for that. That was it.
Very good. Cemetery Board?
We have not met. The report is in here. It looks like we've had 6 burials, 2 cremations, and 8 lots sold at $5,600.
Park Advisory did not meet. I actually have those appointments ready for this evening. Their first meeting will be the first Tuesday of February. And they'll become the Park Board rather than Park Advisory. Utility Board?
Utility board met last Monday. Wasn't much going on. Jim kind of let everybody know what was going on with the water tower, and everything's going good with the wastewater pipe coming into town. That was pretty much our meeting. Short meeting.
Very good. Now move on to new business and start with City Council reorganization.
We'll make a motion that we, Nate Kring, president.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to nominate Nathan Kring as council president. Any other nominations? All those in favor of the nomination signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye. I'm just kidding.
Naturally.
Bad.
I want it.
Yeah,
Congratulations on the second term as council president. Next, are there any other reorgs? Nathan?
No, that's it.
Good.
We just have the appointments after yours.
Oh yeah, that's down there further. As far as mayor's appointments, I have reconfirming for Board of Works, Ken Amon and Nathan Kring. Any council members who are nominated by me to positions will remain in those. So the other one that comes to mind is the utility board. Rick Rippey will continue to serve in that capacity. For the statutory park board, there's 4 appointments there rather than the 6 we have today. So there had to be some adjustments on those appointments. That will be Dylan Dietrich, Gina Sowash, Holly Melby, and Sophia Pfeiffer. For the RDC, those are 1-year terms as well. The RDC will be Travis Goway, Dan McFalls, and myself. And at the moment, that concludes my appointments for this evening.
Okay, so I sent ours out. Basically, I'm going to assume that if you're already in as a council person, you want to continue, or I'm just going to tell you should. So at that point, I would nominate Rick Rippey to continue as our appointment to the 911 board. I'll make a motion for that.
Second.
We'll do Rich seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Health insurance board, we'll probably meet this year. We're up for shopping and renewal, so that'd be an important board. I would nominate Ken Amon and myself to continue on that board.
I'll second.
Thank you, Tim. Motion is second. All those in favor, signify by
Aye.
saying aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, so the city RDC, well, actually, sorry, city plan commission, this is so small. Rich is currently our liaison. That is a
I'm a
4-year.
member.
Remember? Oh, that's right. You're a voting member. His term expired this year. Again, you want to continue, right?
How is that expired?
I think you probably fulfilled somebody's other term.
Okay, yes.
So I would nominate Rich Vaughtaw to continue as a city council appointment to the city plan commission.
Second.
Thank you, Rick. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Perfect. 2 city council appointments to the city redevelopment commission. I touched base with Greg. Greg has been on it for quite some time. He wishes to continue, as does Jason.
So moved.
Any seconds?
Second.
Motion and second to reappoint Greg Burton and Jason Arms to the city RDC. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Excellent. We'll wait on the tree advisory to the end. I have a few questions. Goodwill, we have not reconstituted at this point. The one in blue, why is it in blue, Tammy? It's up for a reappointment. The Department of Solid Waste. You just
I
saw
had
it
a
changing the
reason.
color?
No, I had a reason. The only thing I think of is 2 years of term. And maybe that's why my date said 12/31/24, but
It may be wrong.
Could be 25.
Well, we'll be safe. I know Tim shared with me wishes to continue on that, and I want him to stay on that. So I'll make a motion to
Second.
reappoint Tim. Motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Approved. Okay.
so do you think that should go out till,
Yes. The end of 26. And that should
who
just
made
stay
the
as
motion
two.
on that one?
I did, and Rich seconded.
Thank you.
And I think that just is a 2-year term, or 2 years. We can just make that 2 years.
Okay.
We never made reappointments to the Public Building and Infrastructure Committee. Keegan, what are we doing with that? Tammy highlighted it yellow.
So currently we're working with an estimator to give us, I've worked with both the police and fire chief to give critical improvements list. We're getting those quoted out at the moment. So that group could become important in the next 30 to 45 days as we seek to create a bid packet to get that work done.
So we can go ahead and reappoint all these people. Ken and I attended all the meetings anyway.
Mhm.
The one that I'm unsure of is the building inspector. We did have Rich on that, but Rich is not the building inspector, and putting him on that would mean all the meetings would be public.
Yeah,
meetings.
right.
So we may need to think about it has to be a community member, and then always other thing have to be with the inspector, so. I would nominate Ken and Nate as the city council appointments to continue on that board.
Second.
Thank you, Rick. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so the last things we have are the tree committee.
You skipped the EMAC.
Yeah, Tammy, can you tell us about that board? Because I don't ever remember them meeting. We just put
We have
people on
never,
it, but
we've never met.
The ARPA,
EMAC, the Emergency Management.
It's not.
there's that one right there. I don't know who's in control of it. I thought maybe the 911 was, because I think it has to do with, the EMA people that go out and help with directing traffic and everything like that. So I'm not for sure who
Well,
calls the meetings or anything like
since
that.
they haven't met,
Met the new guy, and I told him, I said, when you have a meeting, let me know, because I'm on that. Never had a meeting all year.
And it might be something that he was new at himself.
Yeah.
Yes, he
So-
is.
It might be, it's just,
well, it's not pressing that we appoint anybody since they haven't met in my memory. So we'll wait on that one to get more info.
Okay.
Susan Howell does not wish to continue on the CW Mount Board. Plus, we're working out how those appointments will even be made, if they'll be made at the city. So we'll hold on that. And then the last, we have three appointments, apologies, to the Tree Advisory Committee. Roberta, would you like to continue? on the tree committee?
I had withdrawn.
Yeah.
That was
Okay.
when I was,
So we have Roberta's position, Mike's position, and Diana. Diana should naturally stay on it, so I'll make a motion to reappoint Diana Tomlinson.
Second.
Motion second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So we have a few, we may need to look for two more, probably. Dylan is already involved in a lot. He could serve on it, but I would want to talk to him, talk about capacity or something like that.
Mhm.
All right, that's it for us.
Very good. Next on the agenda are encumbrances 2024 to 2025. For the new council members, because of the operations of the city, funds restart January 1. So encumbrances are an opportunity to pay the invoices, quotes that were secured in 2024, yet weren't either completed or prepared to be paid until 2025. So it allows us to still pay those off with $24 in the year 2025.
we need a motion on that.
I'll make a motion that we pay the encumbrances for 2024, 2025.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the encumbrances for 2024 to 2025. All those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Next on the agenda is Humane Society update. Mr. Chandler.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, I want to take a moment. I want to thank everyone for their partnership with the Humane Society. I want to thank the previous administration, Mayor Tom, leading into the new administration, and Mayor Keegan, for you guys continuing to make this a vital partnership. And I think for the first year, things have went very, very well. I included just a little bit of additional information in your packets, the one with the cat on there. I want to explain what that is. That is the trap neuter release program. That is a way to make sure that feral or wild cats are spayed and neutered so that they're not reproducing. These funds are paid for 100% from the Humane Society through fundraising and grants. No municipal dollars go to that. And if you do the simple math there, we were able to take care of about 189 cats. So if you think each litter of a cat's probably 7 or 8 kittens, we kept a lot of cats being born, which in turn prevented a lot of cats that were not being taken care of. So I always like to make people aware of that program, which is, again, being paid for extensively from the Humane Society. And a couple other numbers I just want to kind of throw your guys' way as far as fundraising goes. The Humane Society does do a lot of fundraising. When we look at these municipal contracts, we ask the city of Tifton to pay for a third, plus their medical capped at $200. per animal, the county to do the same, and then the Humane Society kicks in the other third. And where do we get that money? For the animal services contract, and then the other operations outside the specifications of the contract is through fundraising. Our fundraising numbers for last year, these are gross numbers without expenses, $70,040.51. So our volunteers in our community stepped up and did a tremendous job in making sure that need was met. Just to highlight a couple of the best fundraisers we had, our holiday gala, we brought in, again, gross receipts before expenses, about $25,000 there. Our poker run, first ever, a little over $6,800 gross expenses. And then we had a fundraiser through Jordan's Way, which was a targeted fundraiser to make sure that we could get a fire alarm installed out there at the building, because where that's located at, if a fire was to start without an alarm, by the time folks realized what was going on, especially if it was during the evening or weekends, cities lost an asset in the building, and we have a whole bunch of dead animals. So the alarm system will be triggered by smoke or fire, should get a fire response quickly, be able to save lives and maintain that valuable asset that we use as our Humane Society building. So that's just a quick highlight of what the fundraising looked like. One more number I'll share before I give you the meat and potatoes of the numbers here. 163 adoptions this year, 84 cats, 79 dogs. So that's 163 pets that were able to find new homes. And again, a big part of that is what you guys do with your partnership with the Humane Society. So thank you for that. I provided a chart with expenses for you. A couple things I want to highlight is at the very bottom, before the totals, the animal medical. Again, what are we doing here? That is spay, neuter, vaccines, microchip, flea treatment, and that's basically it. We want to get the animal ready for adoption. If those costs go above $200, the Humane Society fronts the rest, 100% to the vet clinic. If there are other things, let's say a cat has a problem with a leg or something like that, it goes beyond that initial vetting, Humane Society is paying for that at 100% as well. The big thing the Humane Society has done in those regards is we do have someone on the board that's qualified to give immunizations. So we've started doing most of those in-house with the exception of rabies, which has to be administered by a vet. And then we go ahead and let the vet do the microchipping. We own the chips, which is less expensive than them buying them, but it's $15 for them to use the long needle, put that in. We just think it's better for them to do that. So we may potentially be able to shave off $3,000 to $4,000 in your guys' share of the medical expenses just by taking that in-house now versus the outside. So we are constantly looking for ways to be more responsible with the taxpayer's dollar and to make our dollars go a little bit further. As far as grants go, most humane societies, when you're looking for grants with some of the big players there, you have to be around for 2 years and have 2 years worth of financials to be able to qualify for some of the heavy hitter grants out there. So we're looking next year to really pursue some more grants. This year we were able to obtain $15,000 worth of grants from the foundation. $5,000 went to our trap neuter release program. The other 10 went to some various things. We're going to fix the siding on the building, do some other things. We need a new industrial size washer dryer, some things like that that are just going to make the operations run a little bit smoother. So if you look at that bottom number, this year's expenditures were $23,692.97. One thing I want to bring up of note is if you look January through May, those are zeros on the very top line for employee salaries. We did not have our first employee till June. We desperately needed them, but we somehow managed to get by. We do have a full-time animal shelter manager and a part-time employee now. That with the volunteers seems to be working very, very well. So we will have some additional expenses there. But with where you guys were, you fell below the $28,000 threshold for dogs and cats. So I did provide Tammy with a check for the difference there to return that to the general fund, exactly as I promised that we would do. So we've been very happy with this relationship. We've been very happy with the county relationship as well. To let you know kind of where they fell, they were at about $29,000 roughly for the same thing with dogs and cats. So they were right there, really close. We didn't ask for any sort of appropriation or anything. We just rolled with the $28,000, and we are very grateful for that valuable relationship as well. City and county's commitment has also allowed the smaller municipalities, Kempton and Sharpsville and Windfall, to get on board. They pay on a per animal basis, kind of as we were kicking around back when I was on this council, ways to get them involved. And so no city dollars were spent on animals anywhere in the county, and no county dollars were spent anywhere in the city or in these municipalities. Everyone's truly paying their own way, and we track that very, very closely. So with that being said, that's a lot of information very, very quickly. I just mostly wanted to come, number one, just to update you as promised for the year-end update. Number two, to thank you. But number three, to open the floor up. If there are other questions, we would be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have.
I did have one quick question.
Sure.
You remember we changed the ordinance so that cats or dogs that were habitually caught and taken to the animal shelter we increased the fines. And then I think the fourth was forfeiture of the animal and $500 to get the animal back. Is there any communication between the animal shelter and code enforcement or police or anything like that?
I don't know that there has been, but I don't know that it's been an issue yet. Knock on wood that it's
So
not.
not repeat offenders?
We have not had a lot of habitual offenders that I know of. And I hope that we don't.
Well, I know there's one dog who over by my office in Washington who's kind of a mascot of that end of town, a little tiny dog, but if you just yell at him to go home, he goes home.
He's afraid of you.
He might. That was it. That was the only question I had.
I'm fine. Thanks, Rick.
Any other questions this evening?
Appreciate it.
No.
I just
Thank you,
want to
Rick.
say thank you for all you and the volunteers out there are doing. It's made a big difference.
Well, I'm pleased to do what I did, but I'm going to give all the credit to our volunteers who work very, very hard. They're truly the nameless and faceless heroes that no one sees that they keep this organization going. But if you guys do have questions along the way, y'all still got my number. Just give me a call.
Absolutely. Thanks, Rick.
Thank you.
Very good. Moving on the agenda, no items under old business. Under mayor's report, I'm working with our PR team to create a year in review, a sort of a snapshot of what the city has accomplished in the last 12 months. And with that, some looking forward updates for you all. We're continuing to close out the Community Crossings matching grant. We've got one piece of that grant yet to do. That work should be starting, we think, probably in the beginning of February, and that would be on West Street. So that work will be quite disruptive. We're updating a lot of utilities. Almost every utility that will pass will get updated. So it will become the nicest street in the city of Tipton as a result. But that's what the biggest project yet to complete for that grant in 2024. The trail project, as many of you know, is completed. We're still waiting for final closeout with DNR. As I'm told, the grass that was seeded has to be specified height before DNR will close it out. So we've satisfied the other requirements of the grant that were applied for, just waiting for that official warm weather now to make sure the grass is tall enough. Some other improvements that we've made that you may or may not be aware of at the swimming pool. We had to address the pump house. There was actually a leak that we knew about last year that was causing the pool itself to lose water. And so we were able to identify it was actually in the pump house. Became quite an expensive fix, but nonetheless had to fix that. We worked with, remind me of their name, the vendor who helped us. They did a splash pad. RL Turner came back and performed that work for us. So they already had familiarity with it. And we actually learned they had some difficulty previously because of how it was constructed originally. So it lasted several years and then failed again. So we continue to monitor that. We're making some necessary improvements at the golf course, namely in the clubhouse, replacing flooring, the restroom facilities needed fixed, other equipment repairs that we're currently scoping and fixing. And then as we look forward to this year, something that's going to be high on my list is fleet management within the city of Tipton. As I've done some analysis with a vendor, the average age of a vehicle in the city of Tipton is 10 years old. If you remove the police department, because the police department, frankly, does the best job of managing their fleet in the city of Tipton. If you remove the police department from that equation, the average age of a vehicle in the city of Tipton is 17 years old. That's how old the original iPhone is. So that is, for a piece of equipment that we're trying to use to plow streets, can be quite troublesome. So we're going to scope and try to move forward with a solution to better manage the fleet. In conjunction with the city's new branding, I expect to have a new website developed for the city of Tipton. Again, just giving a more professional first glance for people who might be visiting the city's website. And that'll be in congruence with the city's branding. late last year, 2024, the city was notified we had applied for a Safe Streets for All grant through the Federal Department of Transportation. We were actually awarded that grant. So this is a grant that will help us to assess some other safety concerns throughout the city, namely just acknowledging we know that downtown is still not 100%. We still have work to be done. Some of these things are things that we know don't work well, and I'll address the ones at East Street and Jefferson. We know that intersection does not flow well. But what a solution is, we don't readily know, because putting a four-way stop there could have impacts on the public safety building and their ability to get in and out with ambulances and fire trucks. So excited about that grant opportunity, and Dylan and I, mostly Dylan, are working through that announcement and some of the details that go along with it. We'll have new stop signs. Those have been ordered for downtown intersections. So we'll get those. I believe we'll receive those at the end of January and then be installed thereafter. Their installation will be much different than the current stop signs. So they will stand level and won't be impacted by winds, quite like the ones we have today. And then the other thing I wanted to mention was alleys, because they do come up quite frequently. And through originally Mark Clark and now Dylan Dietrich, we're going to borrow a Harley rake from the county, which will allow us to effectively reinstall or regrind those alleys to get a better base in, rather than us just continue to fill and fill and fill. So we're going to test it with a piece of equipment from the Tipton County Highway Department as a test on a couple of alleys to see if it works. And if it works, we might look at what does it look like if we purchase a Harley rake, and what kind of schedule do we need to get into as we move forward. And probably the last thing is on seal coat. It's not seal coating, crack filling. Thank you. Required maintenance for streets that we've not done a great job of in the past. So Dylan's been working really hard, has a contact with a seal master. They're going to allow us, if we purchase the material to do it, they'll loan us the piece of equipment to actually do the crack filling for free. So we'll be looking to get some of that work done here in the next couple of months, weather permitting. So that concludes my report. I do want to thank, this start of a new year, I do want to thank the council. First year in office is always the learning, figuring out how the city operates, and then also just making plans, finishing out some of the projects, making plans for new projects. I think we're in a really strong position with a foundational year like 2024. And if we get half the things done in 25 that I already know about, they're in the works, this is going to be a pretty exciting year. To everyone's surprise, we have nothing under resolutions and ordinances. I've kept you all pretty busy over the last couple of months, so we'll move on to claims.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve for payment claims 178305 through 178448 in the amount of $5,163,015.89.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve claims. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
All right.
Aye.
Those opposed? Any abstentions? Nathan? Motion carries. Now we're at petitions, comments, and memorials. Nate abstained, yep.
Thank you, Keegan, Bob Edinger. I just want to say, it just brought to my attention that Tipton has a new citizen. We have a new little Schmicker.
That's true.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
I like new little Schmicker. That's good.
Keegan's in the 2-girl dad club, so you better start saving more money.
That's true. Okay, if there's nothing else, I'd accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. Third.
Motion is seconded to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Meeting adjourned.
Have a good evening, everyone.
See ya.
Thanks, Rick.
Thanks, Rick.